Hello everyone, and thank you for coming today. My name is Lourdes Castro Ramirez, and I am the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Office of Public and Indian Housing in the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. I'm here today to share my enthusiasm for the Enterprise Risk Management Program that's underway in PIH and to encourage you to embrace its principles in your day-to-day work at HUD. As you already know, PIH has a mission to house as well as a responsibility to use taxpayer money wisely. Since our office and programs make up 3/4 of the annual HUD budget, and we serve almost 3.3 million households, PIH must use its resources where they can have the greatest impact. Enterprise risk management allows us to do just that. It helps us to identify our risk in all areas and levels within PIH and to manage those risks as a group instead of individually or in silos. By identifying our risks early on and managing them better, we can reduce the amount of time that we spend firefighting and increase the amount of time that we spend planning for the future. As an organization, we must be aware of all of our biggest risks and all the possible upsides and downsides that could occur. In so doing, we move to becoming a more resilient and proactive organization. We spent many months developing a proposed framework for the ERM program and benchmarking it with other agencies and with industry professionals from the Association for Federal Enterprise Risk Management. A PIH risk working group also met throughout 2014 to vet the proposed framework. The structure that has emerged includes a risk committee comprised of PIH's leadership and a risk division which supports the administration of ERM across our office. Our efforts are considered a rapidly rising practice among our agency peers. We are leading the field as one of the only a handful with a true ERM program. ERM requires involvement from all parts of PIH and the enterprise, and in turn, it offers a more comprehensive understanding to all employees. The PIH ERM training that you will participate in is a crucial undertaking to develop a risk-aware culture within our office. ERM is intended to be implemented at all levels and across all divisions of PIH, and your participation is key. After this training, you should understand the history, purpose, and current implementation of ERM within PIH and be able to fully participate in a risk assessment. You should also be able to assess a housing authority's performance and its risks. In 2015, we facilitated training sessions in 10 cities nationwide with almost 800 employees attending. Of course, I expect many more to take advantage of it with the availability of this webcast recording. I am thrilled by the high levels of attendance, both in headquarters and the field and across the many program offices. I am likewise encouraged by the enthusiasm to learn more about ERM and the eagerness to apply its basic principles to our day-to-day work. I encourage each of you to continue learning about ERM after today and to consider how you can apply the principles that you will learn to make the Office of Public and Indian Housing a strong, healthy organization focused on our mission to provide decent, safe, sanitary, and affordable housing, as well as our commitment to use our funding wisely. Thank you for being part of this.
morning, everyone. Good morning. And didn't know I was coming to Basement World, but I'm really happy to be here, and I'm so happy to see you all here, taking this opportunity to learn about the Enterprise Risk Management initiative we have. So I've been asked to deliver a key message, and I'm really, really proud to take the moment to do this. The last several years of reduced funding and increased workload has required PIH to find innovative ways to manage our business. 18 months ago, PIH adopted an Enterprise Risk Management, or ERM, program. ERM is a standard best practice in private sector that is rapidly being adopted by federal agencies. The program is designed to identify our operational, compliance, financial reporting, and strategic risks across PIH, and to manage them as a portfolio. PIH is establishing this ERM program, which identifies risk through annual risk assessments and monitoring of key risk indicators. To implement the program, we created the Risk Division that's dedicated to identifying, analyzing, and reporting on risk, and a Risk Committee, which I chair. The Risk Committee is comprised of senior leadership in PIH and acts on our most strategic and important risks. I would like to thank the PIH Risk Division and our contracting partners for developing and facilitating the PIH ERM training you are participating in today. I would also like to thank the PIH leadership and staff for many thoughtful and helpful suggestions and comments as to how to improve the quality of this training before it premiered at the beginning of this summer. Attendance numbers have been great, and they demonstrate that we have accomplished our goal of bringing this training to all of PIH. And with the addition of this webcast, we will have made a crucial step in the formation of a risk-aware culture in PIH. Let me thank you all for the important role that you play in this organization, PIH and HUD, but more importantly, let me thank you for everything you do every day on behalf of the citizens that we serve. So I'm excited about it. It's been a huge learning curve for me, right, Wendell? But I think I'm really appreciative of this and excited by the opportunities that Enterprise Risk Management brings to our organization. So have fun, learn a lot. Looking forward to talking to you again. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Wendell Connor. I'm the Chief Risk Officer at the Office of Public and Indian Housing. And welcome to the Public and Indian Housing ERM, or Enterprise Risk Management Training. And before we get started, I'm a little curious, for those here in the actual studio, what offices you represent. Do we have anybody from Housing and Voucher Programs? We have a couple here. Anybody from the Real Estate Assessment Center? Oh, pretty good turnout from the Real Estate Assessment Center this morning. How about Contracting Office? We have some representation there. And those of you watching on the internet broadcast, I'm assuming since the vast majority of our working staff is from Field Office Operations, or what we also know as our Public Housing Office, probably watching as well. Okay, before we get started, this training's broken down into 50-minute segments, so we will go 50 minutes, and when 50 minutes is up, we will take a break and then come back and do another 50 minutes. We're going to start out with creating a risk-aware culture at PIH today. Then we're going to go into the Enterprise Risk Management basics. We're going to do understanding Enterprise Risk Management, and then finish today's courses with the PIH ERM practice. Then tomorrow we have a training that's focused more on using the risk tools for our field office operations, our public and Indian housing group, where we'll start out using PHA analytical tools and then use a case study where we learn how to go in and use those tools to identify root causes of problems at a troubled PHA. Okay, so we're here at Module 1, creating a risk-aware culture. And in this segment, we're going to start out by covering raising awareness. One of the goals of our enterprise risk management program and this training is to raise awareness of what we're trying to do with risk management in the department, and in particular in the Office of Public and Indian Housing. The second topic we're going to cover is creating a risk-aware culture, where we'll talk about changing the culture at PIH to become more risk-aware and to address our known risks and to identify and manage our risks. We're going to talk then about the enterprise risk management framework and talk about a common language. In the handout materials you have today, and these will be available on our website for those of you viewing on the webcast, at the back of the handout materials, there's a risk lexicon document, which is basically a dictionary of terms. What we want to do throughout this training is to make you familiar with the terms that we're using so we're all speaking a common language. And we'll finish today's first module going over those common languages.
Hello, my name is Judy Dickinson, and I'll be presenting part of today's training. I want to ask a question, and I make sure I get to the right slide. Can anybody provide me an example of a case where they were working busily on something, and someone came up and interrupted them and said, "No, I need you to do this now"? Has this ever happened in your workplace? Never? Once a month, maybe? Once a week? Every day?
There's no form that has to be filled out today.
A form that has to be filled out today. And when you kind of ask what's most important, you get this, right? Everything's important. We have competing commitments. Wouldn't it be nice if PIH's culture would change so that work could be prioritized? And one of the results would be that we reduce, we'll never entirely eliminate firefighting, but actually reduce it. And that is why PIH is introducing ERM, which is a framework that allows work to be prioritized according to the things that are most important. By identifying risks, assigning value to them, and managing them, that is the goal long term. The purpose of today's training, again, is to raise awareness about PIH's ERM practice and long term to start changing that culture.
Thank you, Judy. So I'm asked constantly about this. Is this another project that's going to just go away? Is this something that, the flavor of the week? And no, it's actually, it's a journey. What we're really trying to do here is change the culture of PIH. And what we're trying to do is require a culture that supports the reporting of risk, so that we change our mindset, the way we're thinking as an organization. Instead of punishing people for coming up with and identifying risks that need to be addressed, we are actually rewarding that type of activity. And so what we're trying to do is put a framework in place that will allow us to have an open culture where line staff can go to their supervisors, point out what the risks are to the organization, and those risks get prioritized and managed. Okay, so you probably have been hearing about our enterprise risk management practice for some time. The first discussion started back in 2011 when General Deputy Assistant Secretary Deborah Hernandez first wanted to start an enterprise risk management practice. This happened after we had been conducting a review and had identified a public housing authority on the West Coast that had significant problems related to an environmental issue. And it was one of the first times we had been out on a job site, identified a major risk before the fiscal impact was known to the housing authority. Typically under our old systems, especially the FOS system, we would identify a troubled housing authority after they'd already run out of funds or were in financial difficulty. This was the first time we'd actually, and by we I'm talking about a group within the Real Estate Assessment Center known as the Quality Assurance Subsystem, had been out at a job site, identified the problem, and HUD was able to take action before the financial impact had taken place. And in talking with the General Deputy Assistant Secretary at the time, she said, we need to do better. We need to be able to identify our risks before they become headline news in the Washington Post. Actually, it was interesting. I saw we were in the Washington Post yesterday, as a matter of fact. But before those things get into the Washington Post. And so we started talking about this in 2011. By 2013, Field Office Operations had started developing their National Risk Assessment tool. But we really kicked this in by forming a working group last January and February in 2014, where a number of offices were represented throughout PIH to come up with the framework that you're learning about today through this training and developing our enterprise risk management practice. We then had a workshop in June of 2014 where we signed a charter which created an enterprise risk committee made up of primarily of principal staff from PIH, and had our first risk committee meeting in January of 2015, and throughout the summer we've been visiting 10 cities and doing this webcast to train the organization on our enterprise risk management practice. Okay, the working group that was established last February accomplished several things. They came up with, studied the different frameworks that were available to us for putting in enterprise risk management. That framework term will make more sense to you as this training goes on, as we go through step by step what that framework is. Also, as a result of that working group, we ended up establishing a risk division within PIH, which is housed at the Real Estate Assessment Center. We established, as I mentioned before, the Enterprise Risk Management Committee, made up primarily of principal staff within PIH. We developed a standardized annual risk assessment process for PIH, which you'll learn about as we go through today's training materials. And as I mentioned earlier, we came up with a lexicon or a dictionary of terms so that we'd all be speaking the same language, which again is included in your handout materials.
Imagine you're driving down a road and you come upon this sign. What is this sign telling you? What is it emphasizing? Danger. And why is it dangerous? There are sharp edges. What is the sign? What might you have missed? It's a little small print. And it's not you if you can't read it. I need my glasses too. The sign in the small print is saying the bridge is out ahead. So it's emphasizing the sharp edges but missing the fact that the bridge is out ahead. And a corollary can be made to the way we do work every day. Sometimes we focus on those sharp edges and miss the bigger message. It could be an example, say you're spending time with a PHA, a small PHA that's failing, and we know they can take a lot of your time, but perhaps miss the bigger issue, which is their policies that make it difficult for these PHAs to occupy units. Another example might be a small loan that's failing, but miss the fact or not spend as much time on, again, policies that make risky loans possible. And that's kind of why ERM is so important. ERM kind of demands that we examine the big picture risks, and we spend our time focused on that. This is in order to avoid more firefighting or being blindsided by those broader reaching effects of these risks. So we've been talking a lot about ERM, and here's our first official definition. I'd like to emphasize the fact, I'll let you read it, spend a moment and read it. We're going to come back to this definition. It'll make more sense to you a little bit later. It's important to understand that ERM is strategic and it's a business discipline. It's a different way of doing work. It covers a full spectrum of risks all across the enterprise, up and down and across. And it looks at the interrelationships between those risks across the organization. But again, as we said, we're talking about that sign, ERM, the framework identifies the fact that not all risks are created equal. And we will focus on the risks that are most important. It came about partly because of OMB Circular A123, and we'll spend a little bit more time about looking at that later. It's starting to take hold in the public sector, though it's been in the private sector for quite a while. So that's kind of our first look at the definition. And Wendell will talk about.
So when the working group was putting this together and trying to figure out what framework we should use, we were very fortunate in that because the private sector had been working on this for over a decade, it's already a well-established discipline in corporate America. There are already risk management standards, so we were able to go through those standards and look at what other organizations have put in place. There are frameworks that have been put in place by large organizations and other governmental entities. And then there's been a number of best practices that we were able to draw from. There was just a wealth of information that the working group was able to use. This really became prominent in the private sector around the early 2000s with the implementation of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, which among other things, it mandated that management certify that they have a system of internal control. Judy had just mentioned OMB Circular A123. Is anybody either viewing on the webcast or here in person familiar with A123? And it deals with management control. And at the end of each federal fiscal year, we as managers have to make a certification that we have a system of internal control. I look over to my colleague who's off camera here, who came from corporate America, but boy, that sure sounds a lot like Sarbanes-Oxley, doesn't it? So effectively, with Federal Managers Financial Integrity Act and OMB Circular A123, which is the implementing guidance, the federal government has for a number of years had our version of Sarbanes-Oxley. We've just been a little slower adopting the concepts of enterprise risk management. The other good thing is we're not going alone on this. There are other government agencies attempting to adopt the principles of enterprise risk management. The good thing is the Office of Public and Indian Housing is ahead of the curve. There's an organization known as the Association of Federal Enterprise Risk Management, or AFIRM. We've been invited in November to present at their annual conference to talk about the progress PIH has made in our enterprise risk management program. So this is one of those areas where PIH is actually out ahead of the curve as far as federal agencies go in adopting private sector best practices. You'll hear us refer to this thing known as COSO, which is the Committee of Sponsoring Organizations of the Treadway Commission. That's the framework we actually ended up adopting for PIH's ERM practice. And it's very helpful because it gives us some definitions and standard language and gives us clear direction and guidance for how we implement enterprise risk management here at PIH. And so we adopted that framework and modified it for PIH's needs. Okay, you heard me just mention the Federal Managers Financial Integrity Act of 1982. Is anybody viewing or here in the room familiar with FMFIA? I briefly touched on the fact that it requires federal agencies to report on their adequacy of internal control and make that year-end certification. So theoretically, since about 1982, we've had requirements that we have sufficient management controls to run our organization. What ERM does is it does not change that. What it does is it improves on that, so we're focusing on our biggest issues first, prioritizing, since we have limited resources as an organization, to try to get to the things that matter the most, the first, and then work our way down from there. And also, as I just previously had mentioned, the implementing guidance for FIA is in OMB Circular A123. I'll touch on this more a little bit later in the training, but one of the things that's happening currently in the federal space is OMB and GAO are really pushing government agencies to consider adopting enterprise risk management. And there's a reworked version of A123 that's drafted right now that's going around for comment. And there's a debate within the federal space whether or not this should become a mandatory requirement or just a strongly suggest. And when OMB came out with A11, which is the circular that gives guidance on how to put the budgets together for the federal government, agencies, they strongly suggested, and it's looking like they're going to strongly suggest rather than require agencies adopt this. But why I point that out is because if you're tired of hearing about ERM already, imagine what you're going to see in the next 5 to 10 years. It's not going to go away. This is the direction the federal government's moving towards. Remember when we said, is it a project that's going to go away? Is it a journey? It's a journey. And fortunately for PIH, we recognize that early, and we're ahead of the curve with some of our federal agencies. Okay, I know if you're looking in the room here, unless you have the slides in front of you, this is HUD's organizational chart. And what I want to emphasize here is the ERM practice that we're developing for PIH, where that box with the little arrow there and part of a larger organization. Currently, our ERM practice in PIH is for PIH. There's other activities going on in HUD. I know FHA is in the process of developing an ERM practice. Ginnie Mae has some risk management practices in place. But what I want to point out here is we're designing our framework so that when the eventuality of HUD adopting an enterprise risk management practice for the whole organization's put in place, we'll be able to just take our framework and adopt what we're doing to what HUD's doing as an agency as a whole. So we see that happening within the next 3 to 5 years, that you'll start hearing more and more about this, and you'll see more and more desire for federal agencies to have enterprise-wide. But while we talk about today's training, we're talking about enterprise risk management. The entity that we're talking about is the Office of Public and Indian Housing, which, by the way, is no small thing. If you look on the screen here, this was a pie chart taken from HUD's audited financial statements for federal fiscal year 2013. That red part of the pie chart were actual gross costs in billions related to public and Indian housing programs. The blue part were gross costs for the rest of HUD as an agency. So what we do, our mission, is very significant. That was about $31.6 billion of gross costs in 2013. Our 2015 budget somewhere around $26 billion. So we do some pretty important work for the taxpayers and the citizens of America. Okay, so what I want to emphasize here is enterprise risk management involves our PIH organization. And we had pretty good representation here in the room, and I'm sure viewing out there on the webcast. I wanted to emphasize that each of our organizations are represented in our enterprise risk management effort. And so it'll be the entire organization, whether you're with the Office of Voucher Programs, or whether you do public housing through the Office of Field Office Operations, or whether you're in contracting or your support office like the Real Estate Assessment Center. one of our goals with this effort is to tie this all together so our risk management is one coordinated strategy throughout the entire enterprise or through all of PIH, rather than what has happened in the past where we've had risk management efforts, but it hasn't been through a coordinated strategy. Okay, and this slide kind of gives you a visual of that. By what ERM doesn't do is it doesn't replace the day-to-day management or responsibilities of each of our program offices that you saw in that previous slide. What it does is it gives us this framework that allows the organizational leaders to discuss risks through the risk committee that affect the entire organization, that cross-cut our various program offices, and to develop a strategy on how to manage those risks with prioritizing the highest risks first. It also creates a risk division which supports this effort, and then a chief risk officer who's responsible for monitoring the overall implementation of this effort. Maybe a better visual for you is this slide right here, and we'll talk about the 4 categories there at the bottom: entity, properties, programs, and enterprise a little later in the session. But think of that section as all of PIH, all of us doing our job. And what the risk division does is it helps to sift through the highest risks and present those to the risk committee. The risk committee comes up with a strategy on how to address those risks, and then through the risk division implements their guidance on managing our enterprise-wide risks. This will make more sense to you as we go through a actual series of case studies in a few minutes. Yes, we have a question.
Every program's listed, and I see you list REACT, and I've taken it with risk management and looking at it from the standpoint of FOS. Are you involved, or will you be involved in the future risk management as far as IT is concerned?
Yeah, and Kimberly asks, will the Enterprise Risk Management Group be involved in IT? And I say, stay tuned. I think you'll see as we work through this today, the answer to that is yes, with a very resounding yes. In fact, I don't want to give away the surprise, but no, by the time you're done today, you'll know what the 6 highest risks were that were identified through this year's framework and process of identifying our risks. So you're actually a plant then, Kimberly. Your check will be see out front. Okay, so what does ERM mean for HUD? And I mentioned there are multiple risk initiatives taking place within HUD and previously within PIH. Certain divisions already have risk officers. Jenny May, I mentioned FHA is working to put this together. Like I say, I see within 3 to 5 years, ERM will not just be adopted in PIH, which we're working to do today. I see that it will be adopted within HUD as an organization and within all organizations in the federal government. That's definitely the direction we're moving in. I applaud PIH for being ahead of the curve on this. Okay, today what we're going to do, we'll talk about the risk cycle. And this will make more sense to you in the modules to come. But this is a brief preview of it. So we start out by identifying risks, and we have various techniques to do that. For enterprise risk management practice, the most common technique will be an annual risk assessment, which we'll learn about in the training modules today. And once your risks are identified, then you quantify those risks using a measure of probability and impact. That'll make sense to you as we explain that in the next module. Then you select a response to those risks. Once they've been prioritized, you implement the response, and then you have an organization responsible for monitoring the results, and the cycle starts all over again. And you'll see where we plan to do annual risk assessments. Some of you may have been involved in those risk assessments already, which is one of the mechanisms for identifying risk. Another mechanism that we have in place will be the National Risk Assessment Tool that's used by our field office operations to identify risks associated with our public housing authorities and the properties that they manage. And like I said, we'll cover that in greater detail here later in this training session. I want to point out again in the back of your handout materials and available for those of you viewing on the webcast online at the Risk Division's website, there's a document known as the Enterprise Risk Management Risk Lexicon. And I always wonder, why do you use the word lexicon? I always think, well, it's a dictionary is another word. It just sounds more important if you call it lexicon. And that has the definitions of a lot of the terms you're going to hear us using today. So once you leave this training or next time you're involved in an annual risk assessment, the place to look at, if you're not quite sure what we're saying or what the terms mean, is this document. Okay, so I think Judy has a few words for us before we close up the segment 1.
Okay. As Wendell said, we have our lexicon, our fancy term for our glossary or dictionary in the back. And the reason we kind of are picky about language is ERM is a uniform risk management framework. And it's important to be able to have a consistent communication of risks. And so we have to really understand when we say something, we all are on the same page about what we mean. It's really the fundamentals. So today we're going to spend some time with some of the more fundamental terms, but I would recommend that you look through the lexicon at your convenience, because there's a lot that we won't be able to cover today. We're going to spend a little time on the features and benefits. It's important to understand, again, why ERM is important to PIH, to HUD, and to government as a whole. We'll spend a little time on the implementation. We're going to ask you to participate. We have an exercise for you to participate in, and we want to hear from you some of the risks that you're seeing in your world and take you through the risk assessment process. So we'll get a little more interactive as we progress through the day. And so as we finish up Mod 1, are there any questions? Okay, great. Thank you. We'll take a moment and then we're going to load Mod 2.